पिछली सीट में इतना सा ही तो फर्क। वो जिसका मैदान ही खुला आसमान है, वही कल जमीन पर तो था। पूछोगे तो बताएगा वो पंछी, एक दायरे में सिमटने में और पूरी दुनिया को दायरा बनाने में बस इतना सा फर्क है। इतना कितना है? इतना है या इतना है? जो नापेगा वो जाने कि जहां धरती और आसमान मिलते हैं, नानकुर से दूर, अगर मगर शायद से दूर, वहां भी दोनों में फर्क बस इतना सा है। धरती और सातवें आसमान में फर्क बस इतना सा है। ये एक अंतर प्रेरणा है। ये हमारी, आपकी, हम सब की अंतर प्रेरणा है। एक कदम, एक छलांग, एक बाजी, एक गहरी सांस और एक ललकार खुली हवाओं में कि हाँ मैं बना हूं उन फिजाओं के लिए, कि हाँ मैं बना हूं उन ऊंचाइयों के लिए जो ऊंची तो बहुत है पर नामुमकिन भी नहीं, क्योंकि मुमकिन और नामुमकिन में बस इतना सा फर्क है। धूप छांव में फर्क बस इतना सा है। तो बस चलिए फ्रेंचाइज इंडिया के साथ ये फर्क मिटा देते हैं। फ्रेंचाइज इंडिया।
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us on this webinar of Business Opportunity Over Chai. Business Opportunity Over Chai is presented by the management of Franchisee India with an aim to introduce you to the new business opportunity every day at 12 o'clock. In 2024, we continue to introduce you to new brands and new business opportunities. Today, we are going to introduce you to a renowned apparel brand. But before I introduce you about the brand, let me just run you through the Q&A process. If you have any questions during the webinar, please type your questions in the Q&A box. We'll take up all your questions post brand presentations. While we run you through the presentations and brand details, request you to keep sharing your queries into the Q&A box to make this session more interactive. Our today's brand is Shades of India. The apparel and textile market in India is projected to grow at a 10% CAGR to reach $350 billion by 2030. Shades of India is looking to reach out to larger audiences by opening stores through franchising across all cities with high footfalls. We have Ms. Garima from the brand. Along with me, we have Mr. Ritik as our panelist. Now I invite Ms. Garima to share her insight about the brand. The floor is all yours, Ms. Garima, if you can share your presentation. We also have Ms. Sonia Chaudhary, who is our MD on this webinar as well.
Thank you so much, Sandeep, and welcome Garima ji on this webinar today. And friends, I'd like to thank you all for coming on this webinar. This is the first time ever we're launching an opportunity, Shades of India. And before I let Garima ji also talk about the offering to bring in like-minded people, I would also like to share a little brief on what the company is all about, and also share a little bit history of the founders and how it started. And my request to all of you would also be to share any questions that you have in the Q&A box. We'll be happy to answer your questions. And friends, I'll be also happy to hear if you are looking at any specific city or you have a property, you can put these comments in the Q&A box. We'll take them live. So the company Shades of India, it comes with nearly 3 decades of history. They are operating currently through exclusive brand outlets and also shop in some of the most iconic locations across India and in the fashion houses. Alongside, they're also exporting their products to markets like America and UK, where they're also winning some of the notable awards from New York and Paris, which itself is a very big testimony for the product offering that they bring in. So they have a unique and a timeless design, which I would say is what sets them apart. And they run in locations like Khan Market in Delhi, Meherchand Market in Delhi, locations like Bandra in Bombay. They are on Bungalow Road in Ahmedabad, Jubilee Hills in Hyderabad. They're also running in some of the 5-star hotels, which includes Taj in Goa. And the fashion houses like Purnia, Ugan, Good Earth is where their product is currently showcased. We have Mr. David Housko, who is the founder and the chairman of the company. And also we have Mandeep Nagiji, who's the design director, who are heading the entire initiative. And for all of you who might not know, Mr. David Housko, not only is the founder and the chairman, he was also a decorated business journalist and who's interviewed some of the leading heads of international companies and the finance minister. And we have Mandeep Nagiji, who's the design director. She's been trained as a textile designer and has been traveling across the country, in fact, to identify, work with various crafts and also textile groups and a lot of communities where she has worked very closely in understanding, studying their embroidery techniques, understanding block printing techniques, and overall, fabric and handlooms. And that is the richness and the expertise, that she brings on the table. All the designs of Shades of India have been inspired by the endless possibility the craft in India has to offer. And all their pieces, I would say, are simple, but very, very exclusive when it comes to detailing, which has gone into it. So the company actually celebrates the best of Indian craft, and they work with more than 900 plus artisans across the country. I let Garima ji now talk about how it all started, and we'll also take you through a small presentation which will give an understanding of what the offering is. And Garima ji, anything else that you want to add on to what I've
Thank
already
you, Sonia.
done?
I think you've said quite a bit. You've taken away a lot of what I could have said. So really appreciate your words, and I'll take on from here. I'll just also share my screen so everyone can have a look at. Is it visible now?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
We can go full screen, Garima ji?
Yeah, sure. Just a minute. Full screen. 1 second. Full screen. Sorry, just give us a minute.
Sure.
Yeah, is that done?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So I want to start by basically talking about Shades of India. Shades of India, as even Sonia ji mentioned, is a 30-year-old textile company. We started first with launching the brand in the international market. And we were exhibiting in multiple trade shows in Paris, in London, in New York. And for the first 10 years, we were only selling Shades of India internationally. After people saw our product and they started discovering us, there was a lot of demand for it in the Indian market. So about 15 years ago, we launched the brand in the domestic market. We started with home first, and then eventually we got into clothing, and today clothing has become our core business. So yeah, within clothing, we do, we do two different verticals. One is the Indian wear, which is called Chinar. And the second one is Western wear and contemporary wear, which is basically called Cinnamon. So those are the two offerings that we have. Today, we're going to be mostly focusing on Cinnamon, and I'll explain to you why as we go along. So like I mentioned, we have 4 verticals, of course. Chinar and Cinnamon are the clothing verticals, and Cedar is home, and Fig is accessories. So Fig is a sort of vertical that complements all other verticals, whether it's Chinar or Cinnamon. As you can see from the basic imagery, we are very minimalistic in terms of our product, but what makes us really unique is the fact that we're very detailed driven. So the small elements, which sometimes feel very, very simple, a lot of hard work goes into creating the simplicity. So what we've learned is, and what our customers also feel, is that it's probably more difficult to create simple garments as opposed to creating busy garments. And that's really what we stand for. We as a brand are inspired by crafts, and we use a lot of craft techniques, along with the fact that we only use natural fabrics. We're very, very sure that we're not going to use any polys, stuff that is good for our body, as well as good for the environment. Cinnamon is basically a vertical that caters to a very broad-based audience, because as we've seen in the last couple of years, the Western wear market has been growing a lot. And the consumption pattern has also changed a lot. So today, even whether it's offices, corporate wear, whether it's personal wear, even middle-aged women today don't only subscribe to wearing Indian wear, they also experiment and wear Western wear a lot. So there is a larger sort of market for that. There's also a bigger audience base for that. So the age group typically starts at about 28, goes up till about 55. So it's a vertical that actually offers far more opportunities purely by virtue of the age as well as overall growth in the category and the sector. Within Cinnamon, we offer products like tops, shirts, dresses, lowers like trousers, skirts, jumpsuits. And the USP of this particular thing is that this vertical is that we do everything in-house. A lot of it is handmade. There are lots of different textures we create with fabric. Fabric manipulation is one of the USPs. So it makes it rather unique in its offering. The price points typically start from about 4,200 for a top and going up to about 18 to 20,000 rupees overall. Like I said, we only use pure natural fabrics, so that obviously remains even when it comes to Cinnamon. Chinar is our Indian wear offering. It's this is a category which is inspired a lot by craft, and not just craft from India, but craft from across the world. We work very closely with artisans, whether it's for weaving of cloth, whether it's for the techniques that we use on the garments. And also the beauty of both actually Chinar and Cinnamon is that we don't sell as sets. So we allow the customers to curate. So we say we are creators, and we allow the customers to curate as per their convenience and their liking. So we don't dictate how you should wear stuff. We just allow you to sort of decide how you would want to put things together. We've been in retail, like I said, for the last 15 years. We have 3 stores. The Khan Market store in Delhi, the Meherchand store in Delhi, and a store in Bandra on Waterfield Road. We also have a very extensive presence pan-India, where we are available in cities like Ahmedabad, Hyderabad, Bangalore, Chennai, and many, many others. And we mostly have shop-in-shop formats in these key cities. We also have our website, which caters to the world. And we have been seeing a lot of traction and growth through that as well. As we would have mentioned, we have a very, very extensive network of, our base is very strong because we as a brand, whilst we do the domestic business, we also have multiple verticals within the organization. So Shades of India as an organization has 5 key verticals. One is, of course, a domestic brand that I'm discussing with you all. There is also export home, export apparel. There is another international brand called Neem Living, which caters only to the international market. And then the 5th vertical is our customized interior bespoke projects business that we do. So all of this put together makes Shades of India as an organization, as a brand. And I think what we're really proud of is the fact that we not only look at how we can sustain the environment, but also sustain the livelihood of people. So we literally have about 1,000 people workforce, and we do everything in-house, right from designing to manufacturing. So we're an end-to-end brand. We have a big team of designers as well as 2 factories where we manufacture everything in-house. And that allows us to maintain international standards of quality and, and provide the customer what they would actually desire. Our founders are basically David and Mandeep. As Sonia ji also mentioned, David is our founder. He's our chairman as well. And he is a journalist from Financial Times. He's basically a Brit. He came to India, and he's always had an intense passion for textiles. Interestingly, they're also collectors of antique textiles from different parts of the world, especially Central Asian. And that's what makes us very unique. So whilst, of course, it's a business, it comes from a very deep understanding of textiles, and their passion of textiles is sort of translated through Shades of India as an organization. Mandeep is our creative director, and she has abundant experience in the space of design. She is worked very, very closely with artisans and developed very unique techniques and even textiles. And both of them put together, their passion for textiles is what sort of drives Shades of India as a brand. When it comes to our proposal, we're talking about cinnamon, which is the Western wear. So we're starting with introducing that for franchising. We have about, the requirement is about 400 square feet of space. The total investment, including the franchising fee, is about 51 lakhs. The gross margin to the franchisee is 35%. The payback period is anywhere between 20 to 22 months. And the contract period that we're looking at to start with is a 5-year period, which is obviously renewable post. Yeah, I mean, why would you partner with Shades of India? I think we're a brand which is very, very well known and respected. The kind of products that we create are very, very unique. The design language is minimal. It's something that appeals to a larger audience. So also the one thing I'd like to add is that when it comes to design, a lot of brands stick to one design language. However, when it comes to Shades of India and our offering, we literally every new collection that would come out would have a very distinct aesthetic and a distinct design. And that sort of ensures that it appeals to at least all audiences, because if you don't like one maybe collection, you will like the other. So there is an immense scope of product likability. And also we have the legacy. We're a 15-year-old brand. People know us in the market. The price points are very conducive. So I think overall it's a win-win. And we also provide a lot of support in terms of brand, in terms of marketing, in terms of setting up shop. We would provide you all the support in terms of what the interior should be like, what we provide the BOQ, we'll provide training. We have a dedicated person who will be working very closely with you as a partner. And like I said, we've been in the industry for the last 15 years in the domestic market. And we believe that for us, innovation is what sort of keeps us going. We believe in teamwork. We believe in partnerships. And we also use a lot of technology to improvise processes and systems. So yeah, I mean, all in all, it seems to be a win-win proposition in that sense. So that's really it from my side when it comes to the brand and the proposition. I'm open for questions now.
Great. Thank you so much, Karimaji. I think I'll take more of my questions around the business model. I think we've understood the brand ethos and where we come from. So I'd like to take some questions on how the business model overall operates. And friends, I'll request if you have any questions specifically on the financials, please write them. We would be happy to take these live now. So it's a full stack model, as you see, from entire designing to manufacturing, everything is in-house. So they're a backward integrated company, which also gives them the advantage over the others in terms of the margins which can be offered, and also in terms of designs to maintain that standardization. And there are two collections which we understand, which includes their Western wear and Indian wear. And our focus in terms of franchising is largely our Western wear, which is a brand called Cinnamon under Shades of India. The overall area requirement is about 400 square feet. So they've created tighter models which can house the required products. The overall investment that we have pegged, now this investment, we'll get a little deeper into that. So the entire investment that we have showcased includes the franchise fees. It includes the interior work that goes in putting the basic interiors of the outlet. It also includes the inventory which is required. And inventory, I would say, is largely not a fixed investment. This is the working capital, but we have also taken that as part of the overall CAPEX side. So If I take that out, then your initial investment comes down. We'll go a little deeper in that. The overall margins which are being offered are about 25 odd %. So Garimaji, just to start off with, one, I like to understand if we can broadly give perhaps a breakup of the entire investment of 50 lakhs. How much of that goes towards interior? How much is the inventory that goes in the outlet? I think we start with that, and then I'll take up my next set of questions.
Sure. So I think the inventory is about 15 to 18 lakhs to start with, which is the display plus stock cover for the initial opening. And then it's about 18 to 20 lakhs for the interiors. And so that's essentially the core breakup of the two. Of course, then there's also staff hiring and all of that. But those are very small components. The core components are essentially inventory. So inventory would be around about 450 to 500 pieces to start with to get the store up and running. And like I said, the area is about 400 square feet. And so about 20 lakhs for your overall setting up and rentals and deposits and all of that. But of course, if somebody already has a space available, then again, the whole figures would go through a change.
And these 400 to 450 pieces, how are we selecting these screws that goes in the outlet? As I understand, it includes the price points from 4,200 to about 20,000.
That's right.
That's for
So in terms of inventory, what we typically would propose would be, of course, the best sellers. Because so Cinnamon typically works on not collections, but more like edits and drops. So we have our perennial bestsellers. Those are something that we sell through the year and we know they work. And then also the new collections, because you have to have the current stock available, because if a customer is coming down and they're seeing the website, they need to see the current, then they need to have the same collection even at the store. So it would be a mix of the perennials along with the basically new collections. The split normally is the shirts and tops would be about 65%. Dresses would be about another 20%, and the balance would be 15%.
And what would be that? It includes accessories as well?
Yeah, there would be a few accessories, more like a couple of bags and a couple of jewelry pieces, but everything obviously textile-led.
Great. Now, with the investment of 18 lakhs towards our initial inventory, what would be the MRP of that inventory that goes in the outlet?
So the MRP of that would be around 25. So about 30 lakhs.
30 lakhs.
Yeah.
That's helpful. And Garimaji, based on your experience of running, and these are the most expensive retail locations that we are currently running our outlets out of. So if we keep an inventory, say for 30 lakhs inventory, typical stock turn in this business, how much is that? What I'm trying to understand is, a typical revenue an outlet can do. And also, I'll then go further into, breaking the expense side of how much rentals are we looking at, what kind of properties and locations are we looking at. But with a 30 lakh MRP of the product at the outlet, what is the average stock turn annually that we look at from a business like
so
this?
So rather than talking about stock turn, I can tell you about the average sales that one is looking at. So we're looking at about a sale of 20 lakhs in a month. Okay. From this category alone. So, and that's, again, I'm talking only MRP, obviously. So we're looking at about a 2.5 CR sale annually. Because the average sale per day is what we worked out is about 60 to 70,000 a day. Is because the ASP is about 8,000.
8,000.
Yeah.
Well, and that would mean that if you're looking at, say, about 2 crores as an average sale, this comes to about 20 odd lakhs in a month. And would the inventory levels remain same throughout the year? We increase inventory levels?
So we increase inventory. So what happens is in the first quarter is a little slower, as we all know, because retail takes a dip in May and June. But post that, we sort of start to do a lot more stocking. And also the higher priced products come in the latter half of the year, because that's when the silks come in and that's when the more
Correct.
formal stuff comes in, right? So initially you start with the cottons, which are obviously lower price, and then you move into more formal fabrics and more formal silhouettes, more formal designs. So then the inventory patterns will also change accordingly.
Now, Karimaji, also because every outlet, while there's a lot of intelligence which sits in terms of what moves in the market in terms of best sellers, and there are also seasonal products which are brought in, there are new collections which are brought in. Typically, how much is the collection, which is slow moving, and what happens to that collection? Is that taken and is the outlet replenished? Is some stock correction that we do at the outlet? And if yes, how much of that?
So now that's something that I think we need to mutually decide on. We really haven't sort of concluded that yet. But of course, we are looking at some percentage of stock correction. But that's something I think we'll have to, I don't have an answer, to be very honest at this point, but we'll have to mutually decide and figure that out. We also do an annual sale, which we recommend, which we do across the board, whether it's our own stores or our partner stores with shop and shops. So that is something that we'll follow here as well. Also, another thing I'd like to add is that, for example, if the franchisee partner feels that they would like to offer discounting, then we leave that for them to sort of play with that, right? Because a lot of our stores do that at a minimal pace. So that is also another option. But from our experience so far, our sell-throughs are pretty high. So, our sell-throughs are almost about 70%, purely because of the way the category is and the price
Absolutely.
points are. So therefore, so for me, that stock is not the old stock, or choking on stock is not so worrying.
Correct.
And the annual sale also really does help. And then, like I said, we're in a long-term partnership. So we will devise a model of how we can support our partners even further by virtue of stock correction, to not, have a situation where new stock doesn't come in, because that's very important, right? And that movement is very important.
Absolutely. Very helpful. And also, friends, in a category like this, the stock which does not move is very, very small, which 99.9% you can move through some kind of promotions that you run in the season or otherwise. And that has been the case also with the locations which they currently run. Now, coming on the again, yes.
Well, like I said, like we are already, most of our collections were at about a 70 to 72% sell-through, which is very, very high and much, much more than usual industry standards. But like I said, the category is such that it enables that.
Absolutely. And Karimaji, if you look on the expense side, what kind of rentals are we looking at? Because the real estate that we see is some of the most prime locations that we have taken across India. So if you look at the real estate and also some of the ideal locations where you want to go, would you want to maybe express that? And which are the important or priority markets that we want to enter?
Sure.
Or we want to maybe add more locations in?
Yeah, so I think we're looking at markets like, say, for example, Bangalore. We're looking at obviously an expansion even in Noida, for example. And other markets would be maybe a Lucknow, Chandigarh, and mostly these. Calcutta is very important for us as well. Ahmedabad is another one. So yeah, these are the core sort of cities that one is looking at initially for the first round.
Sure.
And in terms of rentals, from what I understand is that anything from about 500 to 700 is what I have got an understanding from the market, is what the rentals would be. Obviously, we're looking at a space where we're not really a mall brand, to be very honest. So malls are not our first preference.
Right.
But obviously high street, but with a high footfall area, because that's the idea. Retail pretty much thrives on location.
Absolutely.
So one needs to be in the right place. And that is very critical for us in, when we vet our partners.
So very quickly, Garimaji, I'll also take some questions. I see some questions, and friends, if I leave anything, and because of the paucity of time, we can take all these questions one to one.
Sure.
And all right, I have a question from Mr. Prashant on the financials. Prashantji, I think we've talked about broadly the investment. It is categorized largely into three pieces. One is the inventory that goes in, which is the working capital, which is close to 18 lakhs. And the MRP of that inventory would be close to 30 odd lakhs. The fit out cost would be anything between 15, 18 odd lakhs for a 400 square feet. And there's a component of franchise fees, which is 10 lakhs. I hope that helps. We'll be happy to share a detailed Excel sheet with you, which can be gone through. Are we open to offer as well in some cases? Praveenji, at this point in time, I think we're looking at only the Western wear under Shades of India. So that is our current focus to roll out. Okay. And Karibaji, there's absolute margins on the business. There's a question I see from Mr. Akash. So what are the absolute margins? So, we have a cost of the product. We have a component that goes into rental. We have a component that goes into expenses like the salary of the staff and the cost of the goods all put together. So when we take all these expenses out, or broadly, if you say, if this is my sales, if I'm taking 20 lakhs as a sale, so typically, my rental is almost 10% of that, right? So 10% is largely your rental that would go if we consider a sale of 20 odd lakhs. Which are the other components, on the expense, and how much of that expense should be in proportion to the sales that we do?
So I think the rental is about 10 to 12%. The salaries would be about 5%. And there would be operational expenses, which would also be another 5%. Marketing would be another probably 2 to 3%. But like I said, marketing would be a collective effort.
Correct.
Yeah, so those are essentially the core expenses. Anything else that I've missed out? Sorry if I've
I
not.
think that's helpful. Akashi will be happy to share these financials with you. But if you look at these expenses, they're overall 35% margins, which is very, very good in this category. Of that, your rental should be almost about, because the location in this particular business is the key. We need to be on the high streets. We need to be, I think mall is something which is comparatively off the radar. We're not preferring malls. Second is your expense on electricity and also the manpower which is required.
That's
And
your operational
marketing,
expenses.
and marketing, because here we're looking at higher revenue. So your marketing can be anything between 1.5 to 2% where the company is also helping you out. So overall, if I look at the bottom line of the margins, it should be anything between 10 to 12% overall. Right, and that's how we are showing a break even. If you look at the capex alone, you will have the break even happening in the very first year. If I also include the working capital, then your ROI would come in the second year.
Yeah.
All right. Now there's a question also on the promotions, Karimaji. If you're giving any kind of promotions, is there any contribution that comes from the company? Is a question I see from one of our guests on the webinar.
So it depends on the nature of the promotion, but like I said, for the annual sale, we'll definitely be sort of contributing in some way. But if it's a launch event, of course, we'll be also sort of partnering on that. But if it's just a flat discounting that's happening, then that would be taken care of at their level, not at ours. So, but it's a case-to-case basis, and we would be happy to sort of, support as and when and wherever it's possible.
Wonderful. So friends, we'll be happy to share as much as information that you seek. We have spoken about the markets where we want to go. And having said that, because the brand is present in all the top cities and some of the most iconic locations, I'll also request if you want to even go and visit, please let the teams at Franchise India know. We'll work with Shades of India. We'll also seek their advice on that, and we'll help you get a tour. And I also wanted to share the website, Karimaji. If you can take off your screen, maybe I'd like to showcase the website and maybe some collection that you want to share. So friend, this is the company's website. I shared a link of that also in the chat box. This is what it looks like. Maybe I can go on the top. So
yeah,
this
would go on clothing.
Which also includes, obviously, these are the broader categories, which includes home and living, clothing, accessories. And these are the different collections they have, which includes home, clothing, and also the Western wear, the Indian wear, segregation, and accessories, another brand name, FIHL. Anything, Karimaji, you want to add? You can. I'll quickly stroll.
I'd just like to add by saying that, even in terms of social media, we're very active presence. We have about 85,000 followers. A lot of Bollywood people also choose to wear us. We have, a very, very engaged, active community that has been supporting us. And interestingly, what I also want to add is that we have a very, very high repeat customer base. So people that once get hooked onto the brand, they then tend to stick to the brand. Whilst there is a customer acquisition that keeps happening, but we almost have about a 65% repeat customer base, which is a very healthy business sign. And that in itself also adds to the whole sort of, I would say solidarity and solid part of the brand. So that's one thing that one should sort of keep in mind as well.
Wonderful. Very helpful, Karimaji. And before we close, I'll request if you want to give maybe a last message to all the viewers who are listening live and the ones who have come on the webinar.
I'll ask Abhishek, who's also
Sure,
part of my
sure.
team, to sort of add to this. So Abhishek, why don't you just say the last few? Abhishek? Okay, well, I'm just going to start by saying that, Shades of India, like I said, is a very well-known, respected textile brand with a great USP of creating timeless pieces that are minimal and something that stands the test of time. We don't create products that are on trend, or we don't follow trends. We tend to create very original stuff, and we are end-to-end sort of organization where we, right from designing till manufacturing, we do everything in-house. A lot of passion has gone into creating this brand, and we would love to have partners on board who share the same passion as we do.
Wonderful. Thank you. Very well said, Karimaji. And friends, thank you once again for being with us. We have shared a hotline number, our email ID. I've also shared the link of their website. So you can go through for any discussion on the business model, because we have not shared too much deeper financials. We like to share only with prospects and interested parties who would like to discuss further. And that can be done one-to-one. If anybody wants to even do a tour or meet or visit, especially in Delhi, if you are around, we'll be happy to host you at one of our offices or maybe the site. And I'll request now Sandeep to take over for his concluding remarks.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Karima. Thank you, Sonia ma'am, for your valuable input. And all the investors, thank you so much for your time, so that we could listen to this business opportunity. And there is a prestigious opportunity for Franchise India as well to be associated with Shades of India. We are happy to partner with you. We have given our hotline numbers and our email ID. Don't forget to write us back so that we can have a one-on discussion. We can have more details about the brand, so that we can have a fruitful discussion and close it. And last but not the least, we'll again come back tomorrow with another business opportunity.